Hey everybody, I'm here with my towel animal on this first sea day of this voyage over to Cozumel, Mexico. Got a full slate of activities today. I'm gonna grab some breakfast, gonna go check out the ship, see what activities are going on. I love a sea day. On my last cruise I didn't have a sea day, so it's fun to just be cruising. Seems like pretty good weather, some clouds in the horizon, some rain in the horizon, but not anything I think that we're sailing towards, so that's all great. So yeah, we're going to explore the ship, see what we can get into here today, so follow along. So the first night of the voyage was a lot of fun. Went to the Welcome Aboard show, which I felt like the singing was not all that great, and I have seen the Welcome Aboard show before on a different ship. They use the exact same songs. I feel like they should probably mix that up because there's not like anything like too crazy set-wise that they, could have easily switched around a little bit. So that was a little disappointing, but cruise director seems pretty fun from London, England. So that's pretty fun. Dinner was great. Have a good table of other solo sailors this voyage, so it was good to talk to some folks. And yeah, it is really good food on board Carnival. I really like the food. So I love that short rib at the Welcome Aboard dinner. But yeah, so far so good here on board the Carnival Valor. I do love a good sea day, though I wish that this itinerary had one more port. It's just, one quick stop in Cozumel, but overall, just really nice seas here, sailing all the way across the Gulf over to Cozumel the next day. Started out my day with a coffee, made my way over to the Iliad library, which I thought was really, really well done, really cool look here, Greek mythology. Love the Iliad from school, so that was kind of fun to see. A lot of people don't love the old feeling of the Carnival ships and all their weird theming. I kind of love it. I love how all the ships are different. So many of the newer ships are so similar. Royal Caribbean, a lot of times you just forget which ship you're on. So I do like the non-standard feel of the Valor. Now, I did go to a few different things like the port and shopping show just to see if I could win a raffle item. Unfortunately, I did not. Did love the look of this theater on this cruise, though, it being like Knights of the Round Table themed. Up on the pool deck, they were doing some ice carving, which I don't see on Royal ever, so it's always fun to see an ice carving show going on. Had a nice salad for lunch. Saw a little towel animal. Pool was going off, of course. And then I did see a duck. Overall, it was a pretty lazy sea day. I mean, I really just laid about, read a little bit, did some editing for the channel. Though one big complaint was I was sailing during the Olympics and could not watch the Olympics. They had some other random ping pong on and all the other sports that happen in July and August, which is almost nothing. Feast was the menu today. One of my favorite menus of the cruise. Love the cream of mushroom soup and the beef carpaccio. Had a nice steak at dinner as well. Really well cooked. Good steak here in the main dining room. And then the creme brulee, which is one of my favorite desserts ever. Made it to the show for a little bit. Overall quality, not the greatest from the singers on this Valor cruise, I will admit. And then called it an early evening because I had a big day in Cozumel. So I will pass it off to myself in the past. Hello from Cozumel. Gotta head to shore, check out the Sunscape Resort, which is part of Hyatt. Get my brand with Hyatt because they offer a every 5 brands you get a free night at Hyatt, and this is going to be my 5th brand, or really more 15th. So excited to check that out on shore, see how the resort is, maybe hang on the beach a little bit. Overall, sea day was just okay. I'm not really feeling this ship. I feel like the crew is like maybe a little bit grumpier, or maybe they're just a little burned out. But I keep running into kind of ruder crew members on this ship, which is like kind of crazy to me. First cruise that's really ever happened. Maybe there might be one on across the 31 cruises I've done. Seems like the ship has a lot of grumpy crew members, so not really sure what's going on there. Hoping today is a little bit better on shore in Cozumel. Overall, an absolutely stunning day here in Cozumel, though it would quickly turn to a crazy weather day. Carnival Paradise was in port with us here in Puerto, which is my first time here in this actual section of Cozumel. Normally the Royal Caribbean ships dock next door, so a few different restaurants here, but it was an absolutely gorgeous day. that would quickly turn to one of the craziest weather days that I have ever seen. But it was cool. Before I left, I actually saw one of the ferries that were taking guests over to likely Xcaret. So it's cool that they load people up right off the ship, which I didn't really know they did. So it saves a lot of time for people going on that excursion that's over to the mainland part of Mexico. Quick look at the Valor here compared to the much smaller Carnival Paradise. There is a long pier walk through a duty-free store to get out to Puerto Maya here. So a lot of people end up just hanging around the port there all day. I do recommend getting out from that and going to explore Cozumel. If you're into water activities like scuba diving or snorkeling, definitely do that. It's one of the best places to do that. But I got all checked in here at the Sunscape Resort. I went and had breakfast. It's an all-inclusive resort. So my rate included breakfast, and overall a pretty good spread here. Really good little breakfast items here. Good quesadillas going on, quesabirria. It was really, really good. The pool itself left a lot of things to be desired. This is one of the cheapest Hyatt all-inclusives there is. This is kind of reason why I was just using it for the day. I wasn't necessarily excited to spend a whole vacation here, but perfectly fine for the day. You'll see that the beach is very long and really, really nice. The kids club, I liked how they had the VW bug poking out there, and it seemed like kids could climb through that, though very hot in that cab, I'm pretty sure. But that's called the Explorers Club. This is not a gigantic resort by any means. This is not a mega resort. They do have a few number of rooms. There's just not a lot of public space to go explore. Normally these sprawling Mexican resorts just go on and on. So we're walking past the restaurant that I had breakfast at, and we're making our way to the beach area where there's also a beach bar. It being all inclusive, they had, a few different beers. Of course, you have your margaritas and cocktails and that sort of thing. I wasn't really drinking on shore too much today, just had one beer. But overall, the drinks are here for you throughout your vacation if you're going to stay here for a longer time. Rate under $200 for me. They're typically priced per person, so just keep that in mind, though I think you can get nights here for about $120 a night on some sales. All the water activities are included, so you can get like snorkeling for a few hours, you can get kayaks, stand-up paddleboards. The sailboats are a little extra. All the beach chairs are free, and the umbrellas, so that part was really, really nice. Love this little beach walk over to the rooms as well. There's a small playground here for the kiddos on the beach sand, so that's kind of fun. So as you can tell, there are a lot of beachfront rooms, and then there's some kind of jungly garden view rooms. Those are going to be the cheaper ones. That is the one that I booked. But they have these nice walkways that cross in the interior of the resort. Now, this resort used to be a lot bigger, I hear, but then they ended up building the Dreams and Secrets right next door, and they have a big sign that I'll show you that basically says, "Do not cross this line or you're going to get charged extra," which I think is a little ridiculous. But they're all owned by Hyatt. If you're looking for a little bit higher end experience, the Dreams or Secrets is going to be a better pick. And I believe that you can come over and use anything that you want over here at the Sunscape. Though I don't really think there's much reason to wander over here unless there's, slightly better reefs. But there are, coral right off the beach here. You can go snorkeling all day. Dive shops will pick you up right from the pier as well, which is really great. If you're someone like me and you're kind of worried about seaweed nowadays in Mexico, not a ton of seaweed, though not non-existent by any means, but I've seen much, much worse. So no complaints really from me there. That's kind of what you're going to get nowadays. I will say that Cozumel typically has less seaweed than the mainland, just by nature of all the beaches being protected from the open sea where all that seaweed is coming in from. The beach bars over there to the left. And then the secrets and the dreams are just beyond that. So not a lot of beach, up where you would go check in and where all the main restaurants are here on property. But you can explore the rest of the beach near the rooms. Here's that sign telling you that they're going to charge you if you cross this line, which is just kind of crazy. Some games here like bags set up. They do have nighttime activities as well, like a small show. Most of the all-inclusive resorts in Mexico do this. They have a little theater set up for that that's indoors and nice and air-conditioned. And then there's one other restaurant. This is going to be open for breakfast and dinner, not lunch. This is going to be a little bit higher end than the beachfront restaurant, so completely different menu. So not a ton of food choices here. Most all-inclusive resorts that I visited in Mexico have like 5 or 6 different restaurants. This one really only has 2 plus the beach bar. Now behind check-in and the port share is going to be the spa and gym. This is actually shared with all the other resorts, so if people are booking spa treatments, they're actually coming over here to use the spa. This was really nice looking. They had a nice gym set up, so we'll show you that. Down at the lobby is a very strange room. So they have one large room that's split by this weird wall, and one side is a very narrow room for the coffee shop, and the other side is technically the lobby bar. They were playing the Olympics that I was happy about, but that bar goes on either side of the wall. So I feel like they could have just kept it all one thing and had 2 separate lines, but sometimes there's just weird stuff going on here at these all-inclusive resorts. But overall, that is a look at the Sunscape Sabor here in Cozumel, Mexico. We're going to head back to the ship and explore a little bit more. But overall, I was happy to come back a little bit earlier than I normally would because the weather quickly turned, and we're going to show you that in just a sec. Back at the port, I wanted to explore a few of the little setups and little areas that they have for the cruise ship passengers. I liked the gardens that they set up here. People were taking lots of pictures. So overall, Costa Maya, I keep calling it Costa Maya. It's actually Puerto Maya. Costa Maya being a cruise port that I visited several times. Puerto Maya has a lot of different areas here for the people that don't want to venture, outside of the port area because maybe they're don't know that there's more to do or didn't plan anything or maybe a little worried about safety. Cozumel is a very safe destination. I've never had any issues here. Not saying that you won't. Anything can happen, but I love Cozumel and found the people to be really great. But we're going to head back on board here, walking by the 3 amigos here. which is a kind of Margaritaville style bar with loud music going on. Had the walk experience on board for lunch, which was really good. And look at how the weather turned. Compare that to what I showed you earlier on in the video, and you can just see how crazy the weather could change here in the Caribbean. See people running back. The weather just was really crazy. Soon it was time for us to depart, so we did. It was a nice sail out. Despite the weather, we kind of threaded the needle between different storm lines, so that was nice. We did have a hurricane slightly off to the right of us in Florida that was not necessarily making me worried, but probably would result in some rough seas the next day. But not a concern of mine at this point because I had the steakhouse booked for this evening. Loved the little slider setup, and then I had beef carpaccio again, a little bit amplified from the carpaccio the night before. Had a nice steak again, better steak, better preparation than the night before. And then the chocolate dessert is just a absolute favorite of mine. Love the look of this. And here's a look at Scarlett's. Had Deal or No Deal after that for some entertainment. Ended up winning a bingo card, so I had that set up for the next day, which is our final sea day of the cruise. And that's where I will take you next. So we're sailing in the Gulf of Mexico again. Pool deck going crazy yet again. People getting their last moments of the vacation in. I went to We Are the World, which is something that they do on all the Carnival ships, and people sing and dance along. They kind of let people know where their crew is from, which I think is a great touch. Wanted to get that wake view. It's one of my favorite views on any cruise ship, just out the aft part of the boat, seeing the waves made from the boat. Definitely a fun item to check out. And this being the final evening, I kind of ran out of steam. I didn't really feel like a full 3-course meal down in the main lobby, main dining room rather. And so I wanted to try out the poke bowl over at the sushi bar. It was absolutely excellent. Not charged, it's $10 for a bowl, but that tuna was absolutely delicious. So I was thrilled about that. Wanted to check out the show one last time as well. And then I noticed that the adults only pool actually had a retractable roof that was enclosed, which was really cool for the weather. Now later this evening, we actually did enter the Mississippi River Channel. So that was kind of cool. About 11:30 at night before I went to bed, we're already in the Mississippi River, which is just kind of crazy to see. And I woke up and I was back where I started here in New Orleans. So overall, that is my cruise on the Carnival Valor. Flying out, I checked out the Club MSY, which had some nice biscuits and gravy for me to depart. So thanks a lot for watching.